Greetings, everyone. I'm on to the final question and answer from the book, Crossing the Threshold of Hope, the John Paul II. And this one is basically related to Protestantism. So I've already gone through why are there so many religions, Buddhism, Islam, Judaism, and now we finally reach Protestantism. I'm just going to read some of this chapter. I don't want to read because there's a lot in here. But the bit that I think is particularly interesting and significant. So here we go. Here's the question. It relates to a previous response he gave to a previous question. It says, your last response raises another question. In addition to having undeniably positive results, ecumenical dialogue, the endeavor to reunite all Christians in accordance with the prayers of Christ himself, seems to have had its share of disappointments. Recently, for example, certain decisions made by the Anglican Church have created new obstacles just when there seemed to be hope of closer union. Your Holiness, with regard to this crucial issue, what are your impressions and your hopes? So this relates to, again, this is back in the 90s, this book was published. So most likely relates to the Anglican Church's decision to ordain female priests. And then they later went on to ordain female bishops. And I'm just going to read a part of John Paul II's response to this. These divisions are certainly opposed to what Christ had in mind. It is impossible to imagine that this church, instituted by Christ on the foundation of the apostles and of Peter, should not be one. But we can understand how over the centuries, contact with different political and cultural climates could have led believers to interpret Christ's message with varying emphases. Nevertheless, these different approaches to understanding and living out one's faith in Christ can, in certain cases, be complementary. They do not have to be mutually exclusive. Goodwill is needed in order to realize how various interpretations and ways of practicing the faith can come together and complement each other. There is also the need to determine where genuine divisions start, the point beyond which the faith is compromised. It is legitimate to affirm that the gap between the Catholic and the Orthodox Church is not very wide. On the other hand, with regard to the churches and the communities originating in the Reformation, we must recognize that the gap is considerably wider since several fundamental elements established by Christ were not respected. And that is, I would say, the key quote from John Paul II in his reply, that certain fundamental elements have not been respected by churches involved in the Reformation. And then John Paul II goes on to sort of also state that it's good that there's some dialogue, though, because some years ago, dialogue wouldn't even have been possible between the various Christian denominations, and there are positive signs. And, you know, there's hopefully going to be a time when we all unite as one church again. But he's really distinguishing here and drawing a line, we could say, and showing there's a difference between certain Christian denominations and others. And some are a lot closer to the Catholic Church, the Catholic faith, while some, and he does specifically point to the Reformation, are quite far away now from Catholic Church teaching. Of course, there are certain fundamental truths that are the same, but there's also a lot that they've changed that have no right to be changed. So that's it, folks. I'm not going to read any more from this book. I've already done quite a few Q&As, and I don't want to just end up reading this book on YouTube, basically. But yeah, please do comments underneath the video. I'm really interested to read what you've got to say. And thank you very much for watching. See you again soon.